Greatly appreciate each and every one of you who are tuning in this evening, as always. Derek, welcome in. Good evening. Hamza, got you this on speaker. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button if you are tuning in. We're going to take a very close look at the technical analysis of XRP. I also want to continue to take a look at PAXG as it's tied to the US dollar, the troy ounce, or at least the part that I look at, because I believe it was undervalued earlier around 1995. And I think something's about to break in gold and silver and the commodities market. So I'm taking a closer look at PAXG like we did last week, and we were able to make a few $100. And now it's again come down back in rotation. And I think we've got another opportunity here. Well, I mean, we'll see where it's at now. But I do appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look through the crypto market, and we'll just see a narrative going on. This will be a good thing for me. I want to, keep my mind at ease right now, as got not so good news, but expected news as it happens. Gerardo, welcome in. Mario, Tanya, love, welcome in. Mo, good evening. Blessed to see you in here. Evan, are you saying XRP is turning down or up, Tom? I was napping. Oh, well, we'll take a look at that, obviously. We'll take a very close look at that. But, like, the news, my aunt, I've talked about it before. She has cancer and she's been fighting it, and she's doing the traditional route. I've tried to get her to do the non-traditional, but, we're in a traditionalist world, so it's all what they, doctors, yada, yada, yada. So they basically told her there was nothing else they can do, put her on hospice, and I didn't want her to go on hospice, and I wanted her to, you get it. But my dad called right before I came on, and apparently she took a turn for the worse, which when you're in hospice, I mean, that's what happens. And now it looks like I'm just awaiting a call in the next couple of days, unfortunately. So, and she's only in her 60s. So it's an unfortunate thing. Yeah. So I just I wish more people would explore, let's just say, the earthly route instead of the mustard gas route. That's all I'll say. So it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing. It's part of the reasons why I don't use any like pesticides on my grass. I won't use any kind of weed fertilizers. I won't use any of that, anything to kill the weed. Nothing. I don't like any of that crap. And I believe, because my grandpa passed away from cancer when we were younger, so I think there's a link to that. So I've never used any of that stuff, and I'm very traditionalist. I'm not a traditionalist. What am I saying? I like to use the earth, so I'm very different from a lot of people in my family. So, and I've been, knock on wood, very healthy for 40 years old now. So, anyhow, good evening. 5:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, January 17th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I say every day's precious. Every single day. I'm getting older, but I'm 40. I'm still young. Even in a traditional sense, you do what you do in your 40s, your 30s, especially your 40s and 50s, and you help set yourself up for your 60s. So it's one of those things. I'm not going to get into the whole medicine thing because I'll probably get banned on here, but that's, I don't take any of it. None. Not a zip. Not nothing. Not even for pain. That's what cannabis is for. So, yep, the good earth. That's exactly it. And then you find what actually is good from the earth. You can find it. I like to get it in, you take it in drop forms instead of pill form. Everything can do that. Even with your vitamin C, you can do that. So, but XRP is down 1.04%, down to 56952. I think with XRP, a lot of people are asking me, Tom, what do you think's happening? Are we turning up or down? Well, I personally think we had to come down. We talked about 56 cents this morning. We came within the plus minus range here. And it wasn't even dead on, so it's actually closer. You can see how that wick wasn't even on, so it actually hit it. But the wick came off, but I'm going to make sure that that's lined up here now so that it's directly, it's a little bit farther down than this, because I like to go wick to wick. So I'm only going from first to second wick. Maybe it hits That's good for me. So it came down and hit this. It was supposed to be measured out. I don't know why I always move it, but I did. But you can see the formation. So I think there is a reversal about to happen. And that's in the daily time frame, folks. That's a hammer candle. Does it turn bullish hammer? Probably just stay more of a red hammer, but that doesn't mean it's just going to drop. That just means we're unable to establish a new high within the candle. That's all that means, which makes it a bearish hammer because you don't finish as a new high in the next candle. To me, we came down to support like I was hoping. Daily looks good. It's bouncing off of the daily support. 4 hourly is a beautiful reversal candle here. I think it could come up. Even if we're going to continue down, the RSI now is in a good spot. If we're going to reverse, you bounce off of support. You would expect it even into resistance to finish filling the pattern out. Now you're looking at a return rally to 61.3. Now you're at a good part of the pattern. You see, now you're at a good part. You bounce off of here, and now let's just say, what are we at, 56.94? Now you could be looking at a better than 7.6% rally from here, even if it gets rejected. And all it would be doing is continuing the formation. Remember, you need 3 hits on each side to confirm the pattern. What are we failing right now? What are we missing? 1 resistance, 1 support. 2 resistance, 2 support. 3 support, 3 resistance if it comes up, right? That's all we're missing, and you can see how the W is going to be formed. Boom, da boom, da boom. Now does it go ba-boom and bounce out? Or does it go, you know, and does it keep doing this? That's what we have to wait for, but it's a beautiful setup for a push up. Even in the 4 hourly, it's looking okay. 3 hourly, it looks like we're going to see right now. We're coming up to it. You want to see if we can break through that downtrending trend line. Right now, it looks like we're starting that. Looks like we're trying to start this. You want to break that yellow trend line with the price action. See, you want the price action to come through the trend line, and then you can continue a bullish reversal on the relative index. 2 hourly, again, this broke it, and now it's back testing it. See, this is looking better and better each time frame we go to. 1 hourly, coming back to back test it possibly. It looks like it's got its little retracement here in the 1 hourly, so it should be set up right on it if it continues what we're doing. Or it's just going to reverse, and this is going to catch up to it. Because there's a lot of room here now. There's a lot of room. If that pulls up, there's going to be a W that shows up here. Watch how easily this happens. And then we're like, wow, do you see that? What happened in this pattern? So 85 cents in the long term still. 85 cents eventually. 85 cents. It's not 85 cents though, remember. That was the target a long time ago. Now we're finishing. We're going through this formation. So now the target, if it were to break out of this structure, now we've got multiple structures to break out of. See, that's what we put ourselves in now. But right now, if you came out here, let's just say you hit it in February, beginning of February. Your target right now would be 80 cents, 79973. But look, doesn't this look like a V-shaped recovery with a bull flag set up here in the daily on the relative strength index? Hey, thank you everybody for the prayers. I appreciate that. Tanya, I too hate that word. It's my biggest fear that I'll be here when a lot of people aren't because of the way I do things. It's like I've been given foresight. So, and I'm very weird. Like I still fast 16 hours a day. I won't eat certain things. Like there's just certain things I won't eat because of like how my mom has that diverticulitis, and I love peanut butter and peanuts and nuts and seeds and all that stuff, but I won't eat them because of stuff she goes through. So, and then there's a lot of other things that I don't do that most do. It's for longevity. I was never worried about my 20s, 30s, and 40s, even 50s. I'm more worried about my 60s, 70s, and especially my 70s and 80s. So, but XRP, and that's in a financial sense as well. I'm more worried about the 60s and 70s than I am right now. Tanya, I honestly don't care if it dumps. I know how fast it can move up. Yep. It's true. It's true, but right now, we have to look at the immediate parts of the pattern. So to me, the immediate part says, you know, it's a good time to try to move up. But you can see the inspiration from a lot of people, the oh my God, crypto, you know, this is, XRP is going to be awesome. You need to buy crypto. You're hearing that buzz go away. You're seeing Not necessarily the viewership in videos. I mean, it is going down a little bit, but there are some that have 2,000 views, so how can you tell? But more the viewership when you get into the lives and you start to see how many people day by day by day are just giving up. I've shown so many messages during the lives of people saying, you know, I gave it all to XRP, but I'm done. I can't do it anymore. We're at that time right now. We're at that time right now. It's that simple. We're at that time right now. It's true, Tanya. That's why I started, as you all know, I started lifting weights again and, you know, working out. Like, today was my 283rd workout, you know, so it feels good with that. I definitely changed the way, you know, I went from, well, my arms are, well, you know, just from lifting weights, I'm sure you can imagine, but I don't do anything special. I broke my back a long, long time ago in a car accident, so it's not like I'm lifting. I found out that if you lift less weights but more reps, it builds so much better anyhow. It was a hard lesson to learn. Took to get injured to actually realize that, and then you're like, well, what the? Doing less. Feels like I'm doing less. Doing less to, you know. I don't know, a prosperity fund. At this moment in time, it looks like we're coming back up to retest 61 cents. Unless we break this short-term structure, because that's a short-term bull flag. That's right. That is absolutely right about it. It does show who's going to win the race. Stay in it to win it. So, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not going to be on here for an hour after the phone call I got. I just wanted to come on. Trying to, you know, the mind's getting ready for the inevitable. Let's just put it that way. We're getting ready for the inevitable. Bitcoin. I mean, if you look at it in the bull flag sense, this was the bull flag. But it's still, if we understand, this is where a nice clear out section would have been down to 40,600. We can see that it pulled into what looks like some kind of a broadening wedge, and that's what we were fearing when we said a 4,000 to 5,000 point drop was imminent. But it's, well, I mean, things will get better, but for me, they're not bad. See, that's the thing. Like, for me, yes, it's bad, but no, it's not. Like, me personally, it's bad because it's my aunt, but like in my household, things, well, besides my son and things that Julie, we deal with our own thing, but nothing's life-threatening in our house. You know, the worst thing we deal with in our house is the type 1 diabetic, which is not good. But, you know, that's the 17-year-old. Hey, I appreciate that, Giovanni. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. So with Bitcoin, it's basically this. Does Bitcoin hold this uptrend, or does it just fall through and come back down to the wedge? That's 40,500 area. Otherwise, it could bounce off of here, and it could make a run back up. Bitcoin has certainly cleared out a lot through the relative strength. It hasn't cleared out everything. We can see there could be more, but in like a weekly perspective, it's still got work to do. But sometimes when you're actually hot and it's being pumped, you really just come down and you start to work within the overbought. But it could. Bitcoin to 32,000 if we break some of these areas. Prosperity. It sure could. But I think more realistically, if it broke this, you'd be coming down to about 34,700. Close enough to 32. Depends where the head wants to stop, but I think that would be probably, if it was still going to try to hold the head, probably around where you said, 31,700 area. 32,000, give or take. But it could come even farther than that if it wants to come back down. If this wedge is broken and that's what it's playing off of, you could be talking 20,000. Could have a long ways down. Weekly's overextended. Even with the consolidation, it's just right now you've got a lot of dead money flowing around, and that's scary sometimes because that sometimes brings the institutions in because they can sense easy money. So sometimes that makes an environment where they're happy to pump it. So that's genuinely what I'm seeing. Oh, prosperity, if it does that, you have no idea. I'd be thrilled with that because I too have cash waiting as well. Man, oh man. Lot of A lot of green. And then I wanted to just look at PAXG real quick. We talked about it earlier when it was at like, I don't know, it was at 1995 when we were live. That looks like it could be a reversal candle in the weekly. If it is, it's going to be interesting. The weekly's trying to bounce off of there, but if you look at the daily, it's going to clear up a little bit more. If you start looking at the lower time frames, it's in oversold, trying to bounce back up. But if you start looking at some of the time frames, it was in dire need of a reversal. And this very well could be the start of a very interesting W here. And it's going to be interesting if this does have the steam to pull up. If it does, I mean, when you start looking at this now, that would be a very strong recovery. That would be a very strong recovery. So we'll see what happens here. But there is a chance here with the US dollar starting to top out here, as it looks like, as it needs a reversal. Although we did talk about how in the, I don't remember what time frame it was. Was it the 4-hourly or the weekly? One of them. No, not the weekly. It's kind of playing through it. See, the 4-hourly's even played up now. Never mind. This is played way up now with the US dollar. So eventually this is going to come down, and this is going to allow crypto, particularly though precious metals, and maybe PAXG to get that run that we're seeing. Maybe this is what happens. This is going to reverse. It has the golden cross, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is topping out, if it just rolls back through and then we find ourselves back here. Even if it does roll through here, this will give a momentary burst. But I don't know. It looks like it's pretty overextended here, especially when you get down like the 2 hours finally coming back down, 1 hour at least starting to push down. So it's going to be this up and down struggle, but it's definitely going to be interesting here if it does pull down. A lot of times, though, like I was trying to say earlier, as bad as it looks, a lot of times you'll get like this, and then all of a sudden you get something like this, and then it'll, for whatever reason, come down. It's like they have to go, whoops, let's get the shorts, and then let's go. And then people are like, well, what the I took it there, and then it's up, and boom. So, but I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it firmly with PAXG. Gold you can look at. But this is just from a digital standpoint. So, but basically that's what I got, everybody. I'm gonna go do what I gotta do. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to show support, you can always join Tom's Army or send a YouTube super chat. Please share this far and wide.